It is extremely hard when myself as an individual, someone who is motivated and I suppose senior in what I do, not only that, the company that I do operates within hemp and CBD, yet I'm still embarrassed, or it's taken a long time for you to get me in front of a camera and kind of talk and be comfortable. Even the sentence that Nathan Woggman consumes cannabis. And I think that takes until public consciousness changes, and I'm less to feel that I am a criminal, and moreover someone that looks after their body in the same way that someone that's late for work because they do yoga in the morning. Until that kind of perception shifts, we've got a problem. And I think that shift comes with education, but you need the right ears to receive the education and want to believe it. And I think you need more case studies and proof, which will come hopefully with the kind of the opening up and the access to prescription-based cannabis. My name is Nathan Woggman. I'm Managing Director of Taylor Mammon CBD, which is a business which concentrates on CBD, which is one of the many compounds found in cannabis or hemp. I was born with a birth defect which affected my ability to walk. It's commonly known as club feet. It's when your feet are kind of totally in turn. And I have had a number of operations when I was younger, all the way through to kind of early teens. And I suppose medically, I'm absolutely straight in terms of a skeleton. But all of the muscles and tendons are all twisted, and I suffer a lot with arthritis and a lot of inflammation of muscles as a result of it. I would say that through my kind of early childhood, I was certainly dealing with various different operations and at stages of kind of growth. It was painful through my teenage years and I suppose early 20s. I would suggest that there was almost no impact at all into my daily life, and I suppose by mid-20s and certainly right through to now, so for the last 10 years, I consider the daily pain level to be quite severe. My family have always been involved in property, generally speaking. It's definitely a well-trodden path and one that I was keen to do, and I was really quite successful, having left school and moving into property. And by the when I say property, it was agency, where I was stomping the streets of London for hours and hours a day. I absolutely loved it. I genuinely felt that it was my professional calling, but my feet and the arthritis took its toll. And in the my early 30s, so kind of 5 years ago now, I was really struggling to walk. I couldn't walk 10 meters unaided. Couldn't even wear work shoes from M&S, and it was a really challenging time for me. There's still a lot of kind of what ifs and things left from that, but really I was given an ultimatum by my surgeon, an expert in conditions he'd actually seen me through my whole life, so it's kind of in conditions from children that had bone conditions from the hip down, and is someone that's watched me my whole life, so I've been extremely fortunate for that. Was suggesting that I needed to effectively have close to 2 ankle replacements and needing to change my career. I have been a user of cannabis from late teens. When my friends were drinking white cider at the local war memorial, I was far more interested in being introduced and smoking cannabis. I absolutely loved it in terms of how it made me feel, and the bonding experience that I had with friends at kind of a deep level, which is kind of not what 16-year-old boys are used to. And I could probably place it to music. I remember doing all sorts of silly things and getting, and enjoying it and continuing to enjoy it for a long time. To the point that when I went to America on holiday, for example, I was procuring medical marijuana cards, realising that they're calling it all like medicine and dosing. And I thought it was like a nod, wink, wink to this is the way that you circumvent the system kind of thing. Like, you call it medicine, you go in, you say you're a patient, you talk about your symptoms, then a bud tender talks to you about what kind of weed you want for, the benefit. And I thought it was all part of this kind of charade, this Disneyland image that America do so well. And I vividly remember the first time going into one of these dispensaries, having gone online to fill out this whole form, work out how to get the card sent to a friend that lived in America to send it back to me. And I walked in, and it was like being at a pharmacy. There were people in wheelchairs, there were people in crutches, people that looked not dissimilar to myself. Yes, there were also plenty of people that I would consider are using it recreationally. And the penny dropped at that very moment. Like, okay, this is not a charade. This is not. I think someone actually said to me, like, why do you? I remember getting the card and someone saying, why do you want this card? Like, what condition do you have for this card? And I honestly just like it. And the prescription, and the lady, the doctor was saying, okay, but what do you mean like you like? I could, like, they're prompting you to say something. I just couldn't. The penny wasn't dropping. She said, like, do you find it relaxed? Do you like watching Do you like watching films or something like that on, whilst on this medicine? I'm like, yes, I really do. And this, so you find it relaxed, so you're very anxious and you require. Like, no, I didn't think I was. And I was just going through the charade. And then, like I say, someone said, no, there's no such thing as a recreational user. People use it to alter a mindset, to change an effect, and to see benefit. And it was literally like this very moment in this dispensary being like this sort of Jack the Lad of like, how high can I get? That the penny absolutely dropped. And I came to my part in the queue, and what I was looking for, as in the Amsterdam thing of going straight in, what's the strongest thing? What's the most expensive thing that I can get? That wasn't it. They weren't asking anything about that. They had, in this pharmacy, they showed you the content of THC of the bud, and then talked about the other cannabinoids within that bud and the terpene profiles. And all of a sudden, I was prescribed a strain of weed. Don't ask me what it is because I can't remember. It was more about, it was anti-inflammatory benefits. I think it was probably stronger in CBD than THC, because I remember it didn't get me like, I wasn't, batshit or stoned. Just smoked this weed and I could walk for hours and hours. Went to Disneyland without this kind of, I really don't want to play on a little violin and all the rest of it, but I can't explain to you what it's like being in an amusement park for 7 hours without anywhere to, and I just didn't think about my legs. And I went back to the dispensary to get more weed, and they're like, have you thought of edibles? Because it comes into your body in a slightly different way. It's longer lasting. It's actually THCA, where and there's different benefits, all these different things. Try an edible. For the next day, I had I didn't consider or think about pain. And it was that moment on that holiday that I realised that all this time I was actually a medicinal user. I'm not going to, with a great side effect, and I enjoyed it, but I truly understood its medicinal benefit without even, and using it as a benefit for many, many years without even realising it. I've got no prescription medicine. I've never been on prescription medicine in terms of painkillers. It's not that I've any reason why I wouldn't take prescription medicine, but I'm absolutely convinced that's down to the cannabinoids that sit within my system, absolutely. America, as an example of somewhere that's got it so right, is probably 25 years in the making. And there's still so much misunderstanding, uneducation surrounding the product. And, I don't know, but I assume that doctors are quite institutional in terms of their way of thinking, and it takes a long time to get through a system where it's really generally regarded as a safe product. I think there's a huge misconception within this country, particularly, that cannabis or THC is something which has huge mental health repercussions and is extremely dangerous and not seen through the eyes of wellness in the way perhaps I see it or other cultures see it. And like with anything, culture takes ages to change, and I think we probably...
So do you think the attitude towards cannabis is changing in the UK?
Absolutely, but I think it's a slow process. And I think through the access of cannabis that you've seen through Billy Caldwell most recently, as well as other high-profile cases, I think it takes a while for that sort of case to become law almost. So I think there's going to be quite a long time before you see doctors or institutions seeing for their own eyes what cannabis can actually do, and therefore make it more widely available.
So in your eyes, how could we regulate a legal market in the UK?
I think it's a case as almost using, firstly, I think Canada and the USA have got it down to a tier and are absolute gold standards in terms of how they position it, where there are many different, obviously there's different variants between states as well as Canada, but there are a huge amount of experienced people out there in the world that understand how to regulate this market. And I think if you were to lean on some existing structures, it would accelerate that process quickly here. We certainly tried the hardest, and there's no getting away from the fact that I run a CBD business where it's all about traceability, it's all about supply, it's all about certificates of analysis, showing exactly what's in the compound, and most importantly with upcoming regulation called the Novel Food Act, you're having to prove stability of a product and show that it doesn't degrade over a period of time, all of which mimics exactly what I expect to see from the THC market, or I should say cannabis market really. Obviously taking us away from the street dealers buying stuff that you've really got no idea as to what's in the product. Cannabis taxed correctly is a huge money spinner, would plug the hole straight away of all of these furloughs and other incentives. You only have to look at Canada, California, South Africa even as examples that have totally pulled themselves out of a hole through use of cannabis. I think, I can't reel off the statistics, but I think in markets where recreational cannabis is readily available, the consumption has stayed the same or even lessened than what it has been. And I think it will be, when the time comes, and it's certainly an if, it's certainly a when, not an if, we'll see a whole cultural shift. And I'd like to think that with a new kind of mantra of self-wellness and ensuring that it's okay not to be okay, and all these kind of metaphors, that really cannabis has a big part in playing in that field in the same way that other nutraceuticals are. I just think it's really, again, it's down to the acceptance of the plant and people realising that it has true medicinal benefit, like all the other plant matters that are so widely accepted in this country.
My name is Sam Cannon and I am the founder of Beyond Green. On the 2nd and 3rd of December this year, the UN will vote on the World Health Organization's recommendation on the rescheduling of cannabis. This is a mammoth moment in time. Please like, comment and share these videos so that the truth can be told and that the planet and everybody on it can benefit from this truly, truly incredible plant once again. Thank you.